This is a news show. I do a news program. What is news when you think about it? Right? Like, new is a word that exists. News, all of a sudden, is something completely different? I don't know. Like, can't we come up with another word, like events? I don't know. But either way, this is a news program, and we're going to be talking about the news. In the news today, everyone's talking about it. Let's react. I got to weigh in. Intelligent analysis inbound, everybody. So, Kevin McCarthy, not doing so well when it comes to the speakership in the United States House of Representatives. Everyone's having a good time watching the clown show. Isn't that great? We're watching the show. The reality television program starring Kevin McCarthy. And, the Joe Biden thing. Hold up, I gotta move that. Yeah, I fucked up my intro. I'm playing around with some graphics here, but anyway. But yes, this is a news show, and I'm doing the news here. And, we're talking about Kevin McCarthy and the speakership. So I know you've watched every other video by now. You know what's going on. I'm not breaking any news here. You've seen other people talk about this. You've read an article about it. You know what's going on. What kind of person just doesn't know what's going on the speakership, and then they wake up and watch my show, and then this is breaking news to them. They never heard this before, so you already know what's going on. Kevin McCarthy is presumably going to be the next Speaker of the House, but he is not having an easy time of getting there. But why is that? A lot of people are saying GOP in disarray. That's the headline. GOP divided. GOP in disarray. But are they really? Are they really in disarray? Because everyone wants to pretend like, oh, wow, the Republican Party, they're crazy. And they're getting crazier. And the right wing of the Republican Party is out of control. But are they? Are they really out of control? No. They're not. But you know who is in control? Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans that are going to utilize this moment to cleave themselves from the right-wing part of the party. The GOP is in disarray, everybody. And the moderate, sane Republicans are going to come out of the ashes of this one. This is all just a rebranding exercise. All they want to do is find a way to improve the reputation. So, next time you hear someone talk about the GOP in disarray, I need you to understand, America, the mainstream media, they're all going to forget about this shit in a couple days. They're going to have it ironed out in a couple days. But what they're not going to forget is that those crazy 20 Republicans are crazy. But is it 20 Republicans that are crazy? Or is it 222 Republicans that are crazy? How many Republicans are really crazy here? Just 20? Really? Does anyone actually think that? That there's just 20 Republicans that have lost their goddamn marbles. Anyway, let's read. A stunning inability to elect a speaker Tuesday highlighted fissures within the Republican Party over strategy and vision, grinding the House to a halt and raising fresh questions about the future of the GOP. Quote, "We have to make a choice today. Are we going to be the party of the radical 2%? Because that's what it comes down to." A frustrated Representative Kat Kamek from Florida said after a caucus meeting, "Kevin McCarthy will be the Speaker of the House, and I don't care if it's the first ballot or the 97th. Once again, the language here is very precise. Are we going to be the party of the radical 2%? It's just 2% of the party, everybody. That's all. Everyone else, moderate, sane, totally not crazy Republicans, right? That's what America is being told. That's what the mainstream media is saying, that the Republican Party is in disarray because of the far-right flank. Is that why they're in disarray? And also, are they even in disarray? The standoff was demoralizing for a party that had hoped to use the new majority to show Americans how it would govern. How it would govern? Now, I don't want to pick on the language of this article too much, but how it would govern? The Republican Party will not govern. The idea, I know, I'm reading from NBC News here. I understand. Mainstream media needs to pretend as if Republicans have any interest in governing. They're gonna govern! Are they? Well, Democrats hold the Senate and the presidency, so whatever the Republicans would pass in the House isn't going to become law anyway. So, what other form of governing is there? Well, the only thing Republicans have planned to do is to host investigative reports and House hearings on how big Hunter Biden's massive, beefy cock is. So, is that governing? Is it? Does that count as governing? When I think of the word govern, do I think of looking at the president's kid's big, beefy dick? Is that what I think of when I think of governing? Because that's not what I think of. You know, I can think about Hunter Biden's big, beefy cock without thinking about governing. But anyway, before it asks voters to give the GOP control of the White House and the Senate in 2024, instead, the displays of dysfunction threaten to further alienate independent and center-right voters who drifted toward Democrats in 2022, causing the GOP's underperformance in the midterm election in its current paper-thin margin. Quote, "I think it's a problem for the party. It absolutely is," said former Representative Mick Mulvaney, a co-founder of the House Freedom Caucus, home to the rebels. "How is it not a problem for the party if we can't even decide on who our leader's gonna be?" Is it really a problem for the party? Or is this just all an elaborate exercise to convince America that only a small percentage of the Republicans are the crazy ones? It's Marjorie Taylor Greene, everybody! Lauren Boebert! They're crazy! And everyone else is a moderate and sane Republican who just wants to get things done. But do they? Does anyone actually believe that a Republican majority in the House is going to govern? Because if anyone believes that, they're a dumb motherfucker. They are a dumb motherfucker. But they're all over. Mulvaney, I don't care. Fuck Mulvaney, okay. The House adjourned Tuesday after 3 failed ballots. The first time in a century a speaker election has gone past the first vote, and with no clear path forward. Is there really no clear path forward? Really? Now, I have a question. Has anybody in the mainstream media, do they actually believe that anybody other than Kevin McCarthy will become Speaker of the House? Because I don't. Kevin McCarthy will become Speaker of the House. This is all just a branding exercise. The so-called right-wingers, they want to brand themselves as mavericks, but they'll fall in line. The so-called moderates Want to brand everyone else are the crazies. I'm not crazy. It's that guy. I'm not crazy. No, it's Marjorie. She's the crazy one. I'm a sane moderate. Are these so-called far-right Republicans, are they being brave? Are they actually pushing for concessions? We're going to the movies, folks. Grab your popcorn. Are they really? Well, we know that the craziest motherfuckers in Congress have billionaire funding and backers. We know that billionaires would not fund these people if they would go against the billionaire mantra. My opinion on this is all an elaborate branding exercise. Now, am I saying that everybody, all the Republicans in the House, are on the same page on this exercise? No, I am not saying that. But the billionaire donors who got those 20 Republicans in the House, they know what's going on. They know if they put those people there, that they're going to be a lightning rod for all the criticism, and that it's going to make all the other Republicans look moderate and sane. That's why billionaires put people like Marjorie Taylor Greene into office, as a way to contrast the real Republican agenda, because Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and the rest of them, they are the Republican agenda. When it comes to policy, now again, policy, the so-called moderates like Kevin McCarthy and the radicals like Marjorie Taylor Greene, they have a 100% shared policy agenda. Genocide of minority groups such as queer people, immigrants, and so on. Tax cuts for their donors and their daddies. And destroying this country from the inside out and robbing us blind. They agree on all of that. The only thing that they disagree on is how they're going to talk about their policy agenda. That is the only disagreement in the Republican caucus. So the idea that the Republicans are in disarray, they're not in disarray. They're not. This isn't disarray. What's disarray? Democrats are in disarray. The Democratic Party is a caucus of people that are Republicans, but don't like the brand of Republicans, so they switch to Democrat. The Democratic caucus has people that are not straight and white. There are black Democrats. There are gay Democrats. There are poor Democrats, such as newly elected member of the House and Generation Z person, Maxwell Frost. There are poor Democrats. There are rich Democrats. There are trust fund baby Democrats. There are working class Democrats. If you want to know a party that's in disarray, it's the Democratic Party. The Republican Party, they're all white, they're all rich, and they all hate minorities. They have the same exact policy agenda. Every single elected Republican agrees on everything. So the idea that mainstream media is going to convince people that the Republicans are in disarray, oh, jeepers creepers, the Republicans need to get their act together. Really? Or is this just an elaborate exercise to redeem the reputation of members of the House such as Kevin McCarthy? Is Kevin McCarthy angling to be the moderate Is that why this is all happening? He doesn't want to be the leader of the far-right clown show circus. He wants to be the serious governing agent and Speaker of the House. Yeah. To the rebels, many from deep red districts, sinking McCarthy is a justified rebuke to a Republican establishment that they feel has long failed to live up to expectations of the voters. Do they really think that, though? Do they? Do they really? Republicans won the House of Representatives. Now, mainstream media convinced everybody, hell, including myself, I'll clap to it, that the Republicans were going to have a red wave, a red tsunami. They're going to pick up 80 seats. It's going to... But was that really, actually, ever in the cards? Really? I mean, were they really going to have a red wave? Or is that just mainstream media convincing everyone that they were? And managing America's expectations for us. Think about it. The Republicans won the House of Representatives. The Democrats had it, and now they don't. That's a win. But they're mad? Because they didn't win harder? Anyway, you can read the rest of this if you'd like, but I want to jump into this part. Donald Trump publicly urges House GOP to back McCarthy for Speaker. This is this morning's update. Donald Trump is weighing in. Will these so-called radicals in the party buck Donald Trump, their King Daddy? Will they? Will they go against God King Emperor Donald J. Trump? Orange J Man, as we like to call him. I don't think so. This is all an elaborate branding exercise to make the majority of the Republicans seem rational. How many Americans out there do you think have an improved reputational understanding of people like Kevin McCarthy because of this incident? Now, that improved reputation could only be because of a contrast that is completely made up. These so-called radicals, Matt Gaetz, oh boy, he's a radical. Kevin McCarthy's a moderate. Right? So, let's see what Donald Trump has to say. Quote, some really good conversations took place last night, and it's now time for all of our great Republican House members to vote for Kevin. Close the deal. Take the victory, Trump wrote in a post on Truth Social on Wednesday. Republicans do not turn a great triumph into a giant and embarrassing defeat. It's time to celebrate. You deserve it. Kevin McCarthy will do a good job, maybe even a great job. Just watch. So, will Kevin McCarthy become Speaker? Obviously. Now, I'm willing to eat my hat if somehow, by a stroke of magic, Hakeem Jeffries became Speaker. Could you imagine? That would be funny. We all enjoy the fantasy scenarios. But is that really going to be happening? Is that really a possible outcome? Think about it. No. But if it does happen, I'll come on here tomorrow and I'll say, darn, I was wrong. But I don't think I'm wrong. The Democratic Party has said that they would not perform a quote-unquote side deal to get McCarthy squeaking by. They don't need to. Why would they? Why would they risk their own reputation? But once again, there is no side deal necessary. Republicans are going to elect Kevin McCarthy. They're going to fall in line, and they're going to, again, improve and rehabilitate the brands of the so-called moderates. Wow, the GOP is in disarray! For about 7 hours every 100 years. Meanwhile, the Democratic House members have elected Hakeem Jeffries as their minority leader. Hakeem Jeffries is a corporate sellout who despises poor people, advocates for them to die as quickly as possible, hates minority groups, even ones that he happens to be a part of, and does not give a fuck about you or anybody, but only his wallet. So, are GOP, are they in disarray? Or is it the so-called Democratic Party nominating and electing a progressive-hating, minority-hating, corporate sellout fuckface? Maybe that's the party in disarray? And we thought Nancy Pelosi was bad? Why didn't anybody in the Democratic caucus find a better solution to Nancy Pelosi than Hakeem Jeffries? Why? Well, the answer is because Democrats are in disarray. That's why. Democrats, again, are the party of the poor and the party of the rich at the same time. Whereas Republicans are just the party of the rich. So when you go out there and watch your cable news and watch your whatever YouTube channels you watch that are quote-unquote progressive leaning, whatever the fuck that means. I'm a progressive. What? That doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry. When you go out and watch them and they're making fun of the Republicans, hey, I'm glad that they're entertained. But think about how the average dumb fuck, shit for brains, cocksucking American will see this. They will see, wow, 20 Republicans are crazy. I'm glad the moderates took over and the crazies fell in line. The crazies wisened up and the moderates are taking over. The sane, rational Republicans are going to win the day and win the hearts and minds of Americans. Or will they? I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's my opinion on the House Speakership debacle. I'm sorry for not having the same opinion as everybody else. I apologize for being maybe a little pessimistic when I think about Republicans controlling the House of Representatives. I'm sorry for thinking that bad things will happen and that probably there are no good outcomes. But, hey, an optimist going out there and saying, wow, what did they got dang, you know? Feel free to huff the copium all you want. But this, once again, is a branding exercise. Just look at how mainstream media is going to talk about it when Kevin McCarthy is eventually, and it could be today, elected Speaker of the House of Representatives. So anyway, it's a news show, and there's the news.